Hi, I'm Peter Haddock, and welcome to another podcast edition. And this one is going to be super exciting, folks, because this one is about the future of used equipment, not just in the UK that you hear me talking about quite often, but globally. And why am I talking globally? Well, because I've got Matt Ackley on, who is the Chief Marketing Officer of Ritchie Bros globally. Matt, welcome onto the show. Thanks for coming to talk to me.
Peter, thanks a bunch. And speaking globally, I'm coming to you from Sweden, of all places.
Fantastic.
Always where I wanted to spend a February day in Sweden.
Exactly. Well, it's going to be a little bit chillier there than it is here in the UK, but hopefully we're getting through the winter season now, Matt, and we're moving forward, which is really exciting, to the next auctions for Ritchie Brothers this year. March and then following on in June time, etc. But Matt, the really exciting thing about what we're going to talk about today is how the whole world has changed for Ritchie Brothers, but also actually how that changes is an opportunity for customers and buyers and sellers. But we've got to really understand, Matt, from you, and this is the exclusive moments that I'm wanting to drag out of you today, about how the investment that you're already making in the UK and Europe, how that's going to be ramped up. But first of all, Matt, the most important thing is introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, because you've got an interesting background and where you've come from, Matt.
Definitely. Thanks, Peter. So, one of the little things that's not known all that well even inside of Ritchie Brothers, is I've probably been doing auctions for longer than most people at Ritchie Brothers. So I started in the auction space in 1998, just after business school, doing, online auctions for a small company out of Boston. I actually have 3 patents in the online auction space. So, I've been doing online auctions since then. That small company was eventually purchased by eBay, which is another company synonymous with online auctions. And, I spent, 7-8 years at eBay in the early years, helping build out that platform. That's where I first got dragged kicking and screaming into marketing. I'm an engineer by trade. I used to code for a living, hence all the data stuff we'll get to a little later on. Spent those years at eBay running eBay's online marketing division, globally, once again. So driving traffic to all of eBay's properties around the world. Then from there, I went to Google, which, I was interested in, and obviously on digital marketing, online advertising. So spent some time at Google. At eBay, I was Google's biggest customer. And then I kind of went over to the dark side, as we said, at eBay. Spent a couple years there, always kind of done startups, I'd almost say stumbled into Iron Planet. I actually knew of Iron Planet from my fair market days, the company that got bought by eBay. And, when I reconnected with Greg Owens and Jeff Jeter, who were running Iron Planet at the time, I never thought I'd get back into the auction space. And it looked really, it appealed to me because when I looked at the heavy equipment segment, I saw that there was really a lack of online penetration there. And I saw a very, very unique opportunity at Iron Planet to do for the heavy equipment space what, eBay and Amazon had done for the retail space. And to me, Iron Planet had solved actually some of the marketplace friction problems that eBay had, right? Specifically around inspections, specifically around, escrow, and so, really managing the transaction. And so that's how I got into the space. And, I think, the thesis that I had held true, right? I saw a ton of opportunity to kind of move, marketing in the industry forward, to move, kind of the online commerce capability of the industry forward. And we really started to do that at Iron Planet. And, kind of fortunately or unfortunately, I was only at Iron Planet about 4 or 5 months before the Ritchie Brothers acquisition happened. And I got kind of shoved back into this world of live auctions and live auctioneers and so forth. And, I have to say the last, almost 4 years have been really a fascinating time, as, not only have, I feel personally been working with the industry to kind of move it forward from a digital perspective, but also my own company, right? A company that's 65 years old, very strong tradition, very strong culture in the live auction space, and really have been working for the last 4 years to kind of transform internally, right, as well, right? Really kind of bring new concepts to the companies. Even when we're running live auctions, right, we're really bringing a lot of digital mechanics and methodologies to the live auction space in the same way we bring them to the online auction space.
Yeah, and I think, Matt, what's really interesting is your introduction to Ritchie Brothers was the same as mine, because I got introduced when Iron Planet first came to the UK,
Yeah.
with a Caterpillar brand, and basically they were doing auctions with Finning, and it was different, and we're seeing information being given, descriptions, videos, and those all important inspection reports are really critical if you're going to move on to saying a high value asset and buying that online. And I know, that's some of the really big things that have changed, is actually, as we've moved, and we'll talk about it later, as we've moved into this period and almost been forced, all of us online, we're talking on Zoom today, then actually that is a big change. But what do you think the business was like? Because obviously bought Iron Planet for a reason. It was a big competitor and it was doing well in the market at the time. So Ritchie Brothers recognized that they needed to move forward, but what was that like through that change and that transition, and how has that changed over the last sort of 3 to 4 years that you've been, and to where we are today? What were the challenges?
Yeah, I mean, I think let me tell you something. And I actually, we have a new CEO who's come on board, and obviously COVID has changed all this. I actually talk internally, right, about our dirty little secret at Ritchie Brothers. And our dirty little secret is that even before, and obviously the acquisition of Iron Planet itself, but even before the acquisition of Iron Planet, Ritchie Brothers was a digital company. We kind of had a funny saying growing up, you're a poet and didn't know it, right? Well, they were an online company, but they didn't really know it. And the reason I say that is, even before COVID, at a live sale, 70% of the transactions were done online.
Yeah,
right? Which is huge, right? So even at a live sale, right, pre-COVID, okay, so when IP came in, that was 60%, and we've moved that to 70. But even before COVID, there was already a strong pool of the online world, at RB, right? So while the mentality was, very much about the live auction, the underneath the covers, so to speak, there were already a strong foundation of online. And I found that coming in, I was able to tap into that, right? And start to introduce slowly some of the IP approaches. And so, a couple of big ones that I'll start with is, when I came into RB and I looked at the way they handled digital marketing, it was very episodic in nature, in the sense that the focus was, so let's just take Orlando, right? We just had our Orlando sale. When we came in and they went to buy keywords for Orlando, right, for the equipment to, on Google to drive traffic to Orlando, they would only start the campaigns 2 weeks before the sale and geo-target, right, the campaign a 200-mile radius of Orlando. Well, that's not the way you want to buy on Google, right? If you, once again, I'm very familiar with the Google algorithms, and Google rewards, with their quality score mechanism, rewards an always on type approach, right? So you always want to be on the keyword used excavator for sale. And by the way, we knew from Iron Planet that, hey, people bid on this stuff from all over the country and all over the world. So why geofence for Orlando within a 200-mile radius, right? So that's one simple change. So another simple change was, or not so simple, is we introduced, for the very first Orlando sale together, we actually introduced the concept of selling virtually at Orlando, utilizing those ironclad inspections we talked about. So at a live Ritchie sale, you didn't have to send your piece of equipment to Orlando. It could sit in Michigan or Nebraska. You could take part in the kind of the size and the pageantry of that sale, right? It's the most massive sale in the world. But for those who, couldn't inspect your equipment at the site, we borrowed, from Cat Auction Services when we came over to the UK. You could look at the inspection on the RB website